After studying this module, you shall be able to know the importance of cost accounting standards, learn the various cost accounting standards, identify the relevance of cost accounting standards. Introduction. The Institute of Cost Accountants of India has recognized the need for a systematic approach in the measurement of costs of manufacturing goods and the services. Therefore, the Council of the Institute has so far given 22 cost accounting standards. These standards provide guidance to the various organizations, government bodies, various regulators, and research bodies to achieve uniformity in the treatment of costs. It helps in developing consistency and facilitates benchmarking and inter-firm comparison. It is useful in the classification, measurement, and assignment of costs on a uniform basis. The Institute has constituted the Cost Accounting Standards Board, CASB, with the objective of formulating the cost accounting standards. While formulating these standards, the CASB has taken into consideration the applicable laws and the prevalent business environment in India. Due consideration has also been given to the cost accounting standards, principles, and practices being followed by the other countries in the world. The expert group constituted by Ministry of Corporate Affairs has specifically highlighted the need for developing cost accounting standards on the basis of generally accepted cost accounting principles. The board has so far released 22 cost accounting standards and document on generally accepted cost accounting principles. The cost accounting standards has the following structure. It consists of introduction, objectives of issuing standards, scope of standard, definitions, and explanation of the terms used in the standard, principles of measurement, assignment of cost, presentation and disclosure. If due to subsequent change in law, a cost accounting standard or any part thereof becomes inconsistent with the law, then in such a situation the law shall prevail. Besides, if there has been a need, then the standards have also been revised from time to time. Importance of cost accounting standards. The importance of cost accounting standards can be understood from the fact that costs are incurred in the form of material, labor, and other resources in the production of goods and provision of services. The resources are limited in supply. They need to be optimally utilized. The standards provide for uniformity and consistency in the measurement of cost and thus helps in cost control. The concept of benchmarking can be applied only when there is uniformity. Any variation or exception can be immediately detected whether the comparison is with prior periods or with similar firms in the same industry. Different cost accounting standards. Some of the important cost accounting standards are as follows. CAS1, classification of costs. CAS2, cost accounting standards on capacity determination. CAS3, cost accounting standard on overheads. CAS4, cost accounting standard on cost of production for captive consumption. CAS5, cost accounting standard on determination of average within bracket equalized cost of transportation. CAS6, cost accounting standard on material cost. CAS7, cost accounting standard on employee cost. CAS8, cost accounting standard on cost of utilities. CAS9, cost accounting standard on packing material cost. CAS10, cost accounting standard on direct expenses. CAS11, cost accounting standard on administrative overheads. CAS 12 cost accounting standard on repairs and maintenance cost. CAS 13 cost accounting standard on cost of service cost center. CAS 14 cost accounting standard on pollution control cost. CAS 15 cost accounting standard on selling and distribution overheads. CAS 1 classification of costs. The objective of this cost standard is the classification of costs in a systematic and meaningful manner for uniformity and comparative analysis, whether with prior periods or with other enterprises. As per the standard, the cost can be classified on the basis of nature of expense within bracket material, labor and overheads. Relation to object, direct and indirect. Functions, administrative, selling, production, etc. Behavior, fixed, variable, semi-variable. Managerial decision making, relevant cost, sunk cost, opportunity cost. Production process, job, batch, process, contract, operating costs. Time period, historical cost, current cost. CAS 2 cost accounting standard on capacity determination. This standard is on capacity determination. It is an important standard as better capacity utilization of capacity means better utilization of resources. This standard prescribes the method of determination of capacity to be applied uniformly and consistently. Capacity can be determined in various ways like installed capacity. This capacity is determined on the basis of manufacturer's specification. Licensed capacity. That portion of the plant for which the license has been issued by an appropriate authority. Practical or achievable capacity. This capacity should be determined after taking into consideration the holidays, normal shutdown time, time needed for maintenance and the normal idle time. Normal capacity. This is determined based on the productive capacity achieved over a period of time. CAS 3 cost accounting standard on overheads. This standard deals with the method of collection, allocation, apportionment and absorption of overheads. It determines how the overheads are to be allocated and apportioned to different cost centers and their absorption to different products and services. It is a very important step in the determination and control of costs. Overheads are divided into fixed, semi-variable and variable. Fixed overheads do not change with the change in the volume of production. Semi-variable overheads are partly affected by the change in production, and variable overheads comprise of expenses which vary in proportion to the change in volume of production. Overheads are collected and then allocated to the different products differently, if they can be directly identified with it, or they may be apportioned on some equitable basis. The first step is the primary distribution, and in the second step, the overheads allocated or apportioned to the service departments are again distributed to the production departments by any of the following methods, which are as follows: repeated distribution method, trial and error method, simultaneous equation method. Overheads are also absorbed on some predetermined basis on the basis of normal capacity. CAS 4 cost accounting standard on cost of production for captive consumption. This standard deals with determination of cost of production for captive consumption. Captive consumption means the consumption of goods manufactured by one division and consumed by another division of the same organization or related undertaking for manufacturing another product. It deals with the manner in which the assessable value of goods is to be determined for the purpose of determination of the excise duty on the goods, as excise duty is levied on manufacture of goods even at the time of captive consumption. As per the standard, the cost of production shall consist of material consumed, direct wages and salaries, direct expenses, works overheads, quality control cost, research and development cost, packing cost and administrative overheads relating to production. CAS 5 Cost Accounting Standard on Determination of Average Equalized Cost of Transportation. This standard deals with the determination of average transportation cost of a product. Transportation cost is an important element of cost for procurement of materials for production and for distribution of product for sale. The objective of the standard is to bring uniformity in the application of principles and methods used in the determination of averaged equalized transportation costs. It also prescribes the system to be followed for maintenance of records for collection of cost of transportation, its allocation or apportionment to cost centers, locations or products. The standard helps in maintaining transparency in the determination of transportation costs. CAS 6 Cost Accounting Standard on Material Cost. The purpose of the standard is to determine the material cost and what principles and methods should be uniformly followed in doing so. It deals with the principles and methods of classification, measurement and assignment of material cost for determination of the cost of product and services, and the presentation and disclosure in the cost statements. Material for the purpose of the standard includes raw materials, process materials, additives, manufactured or bought out component, sub-assemblies, accessories, semi-finished goods, consumable stores, spares and other indirect material. However, the standard does not deal with packing material as there is a separate standard for the same. CAS 7 Cost Accounting Standard on Employee Cost. The standard deals with the principles and methods of classification, measurement and assignment of employee cost for determination of the cost of product or service, and the presentation and disclosures in cost statements. The objective of the standard is to bring uniformity and consistency in the principles and methods of determining the employee cost with reasonable accuracy. Employee cost is the aggregate of all kinds of consideration paid or payable to the employees. It also includes the provision made for the future benefits like gratuity, provident fund, etc. These are the payments made for the services rendered by the employees. Employees will include part-time as well as contract labor. This cost is also known as labor cost. CAS 8 Cost Accounting Standard on Cost of Utilities. The standard deals with the principles and method of determining the cost of utilities. It deals with the principles and methods of classification, measurement and assignment of cost of utilities for determination of the cost of product or service, and the presentation and disclosure in cost statements. The purpose is to bring uniformity and consistency in the principles and methods of determining the cost of utilities with reasonable accuracy. CAS 9 Cost Accounting Standard on Packing Material Cost. This standard deals with the principles and methods of determining the packing material cost. It deals with the principles and methods of classification, measurement and assignment of packing material cost for determination of the cost of product or service, and the presentation and disclosure in cost statements. Packing material for the purpose of the standard is classified into primary and secondary packing materials. The purpose is to bring uniformity and consistency in the principles and methods of determining the cost of utilities with reasonable accuracy. The cost statement should disclose the basis of valuation of packing materials. Packing material costs incurred in foreign exchange should also be disclosed separately. CAS 10 Cost Accounting Standard on Direct Expense. This standard deals with the principles and methods of determining the direct expenses. It deals with the principles and methods of classification, measurement, and assignment of direct expenses for determination of the cost of product or service and the presentation and disclosure in cost statement. The purpose is to bring uniformity and consistency in the principles and methods of determining direct expenses with reasonable accuracy. Direct expenses incurred for the use of bought out sources shall be determined at invoice or agreed price, including duties and taxes and expenditure directly attributable thereto, net of trade discounts, rebates, taxes, and duties refundable or to be credited. If an item of direct expense does not meet the test of materiality, it can be treated as part of overheads. The cost statement should disclose the basis of distribution of direct expenses to the cost of the object or cost units. Direct expenses incurred in foreign exchange or paid or payable to related parties should also be disclosed separately. CAS 11 Cost Accounting Standard on Administrative Overheads. This standard deals with the principles and methods of determining the administrative overheads. It deals with the principles and methods of classification, measurement, and assignment of administrative overheads for determination of the cost of product or service and the presentation and disclosure in cost statements. Administrative overheads include cost of all activities relating to general management and administration of an organization. They should be presented as a separate cost head in the cost statement. They should not include any abnormal administrative cost. CAS 12 Cost Accounting Standard on Repair and Maintenance Cost. This standard deals with the principles and methods of determining the repairs and maintenance costs. It deals with the principles and methods of classification, measurement, and assignment of repairs and maintenance cost for determination of the cost of product or service and the presentation and disclosure in cost statements. Repairs and maintenance costs should include cost of all activities which have the objective of maintaining or restoring an asset in or at a state in which it can perform its required function at intended capacity and efficiency. They include routine or preventive maintenance, planned maintenance, and breakdown maintenance. It will be the aggregate of direct and indirect costs related to repairs. CAS 13 Cost Accounting Standard on Cost of Service Cost Centers. The standard deals with the principles and methods of determining the cost of service cost center. It deals with the principles and methods of classification, measurement, and assignment of cost of service cost center for determination of the cost of product or service and the presentation and disclosure in cost statements. Service cost center provides auxiliary services across the enterprise. They provide services to production, operation, or other service cost centers, but themselves are not directly engaged in manufacturing process or operation. CAS 14 Cost Accounting Standard on Pollution Control Cost. This standard deals with the principles and methods of determining the pollution control cost. It deals with the principles and methods of classification, measurement, and assignment of pollution control cost for determination of the cost of product or service and the presentation and disclosures in cost statements. Pollution control cost shall be aggregate of direct and indirect cost relating to pollution control activity. Pollution control cost shall be traced to a cost object to the extent economically feasible. If the pollution control cost, including the share of cost of reciprocal exchange of services, is shared by several cost objects, the related cost shall be measured as an aggregate and distributed among the cost objects. CAS 15 Cost Accounting Standard on selling and distribution overheads. This standard deals with the principles and methods of determining the selling and distribution overheads. It deals with the principles and methods of classification, measurement, and assignment of selling and distribution overheads for determination of cost of product or service, and the presentation and disclosure in cost statements. Selling overheads, also known as selling costs, are the expenses related to sale of products and include all indirect expenses in sales management. Distribution overheads are the costs incurred in handling a product or service from the time it is ready for delivery until it reaches the ultimate consumer. Summary. This module discusses the major accounting standards as issued by the Councils of Cost and Works Accountant of India. These standards provide for the principles and methods of classification, measurement, and assignment of costs for determination of the cost of product or service, and the presentation and disclosure in cost statements. The purpose is to bring uniformity and consistency in the principles and methods of determining the various costs with reasonable accuracy.